Right now, Wisconsin utility crews share their stories after helping people in Florida recover from the destruction left behind by Hurricane Ian.
Also, with less than a month to go before the midterms, a new Marquette Law School poll is out. What the new numbers are showing.
And later, an attack ad claims Senator Ron Johnson wants to flood our streets with guns. We take a closer look at the ad to figure out what the reality is. You're watching News 3 Now at 6. The damage from a Category 4 hurricane may look and feel significantly different from the damage we see from storms around Wisconsin, but the recovery efforts are in essence the same.
Crews from Wisconsin, well trained in power restoration, can tell you that. Many are back after some long days and nights offering their expertise to the people of Florida. Catherine Merck shows us how they helped people there get back to normal.
Power, gas, and water are some of the most essential parts to survival. The people in charge of our utilities know that for sure. So when natural disasters make those things difficult or downright impossible to find, it takes people like the linemen in Sun Prairie traveling thousands of miles to step up and give people what they need.
You don't get the day-to-day gratitude all the time.
Chris Kaufman is feeling the gratitude this week. He just got back to Sun Prairie from his time in Florida, helping with hurricane recovery efforts.
So you hear how bad the storm was, you're just expectations to see stuff leveled, and so you're just preparing yourself for some long work days and know it's going to be a lot of work.
As a lineman with Sun Prairie Utilities, most of his help went toward the parts of living everyone relies on.
Changing poles, putting lines back up, cutting trees, yeah, just getting the lights back on. So we worked with all our group from Wisconsin every day. I think we had 21 trucks from different communities throughout Wisconsin. So it's very nice that we get to work with people that we know on a personal level. So you know the work ethic, it's going to be there.
That work ethic expanded far beyond just restoring power. Southern Wisconsin Red Cross chapter currently has 40 volunteers still in Florida helping with Ian efforts.
All the residents are trying to get back in, pick up their lives, and find out where, what's left of their homes.
The damage that's been done from this hurricane is significant.
I've seen a lot of disasters from Katrina to Harvey. I would say that this is probably one of our top 5 disasters that the Red Cross has responded to.
For Kaufman, it's proof that in times like these, it's the things we take for granted that make his work important year-round.
That's the best part of being a lineman. It's when stuff like this happens that your job is actually recognized and very important.
Since the Ian efforts have continued, I've also been checking in with the blood donation centers in our area about what they've been able to do to send blood to Florida. Today, Impact Life tells me it wound up shipping 40 units of type O red blood cells for use in Florida.
Catherine, thank you. Let's check your certified most accurate forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, it looks like the next batch of showers just about moving into the area. Just got a few sprinkles of rain here in the backyard, but the clouds look kind of ominous overhead. You can see one batch of clouds moving eastward. That was the line of showers that came through earlier this afternoon and spawned a couple of tornadoes in southeastern Wisconsin. Now the next batch of clouds is moving in from the west, and that's just a reinforcement of cold air. A few flashes of lightning up in Marquette and Green Lake counties, but you can see those showers already sweeping through Dane County, and those winds can be fairly strong. Notice the fast movement predicted by future track radar as those showers race off to the east, and already we're seeing wind gusts right now west of Madison in the 35 to 40 mile per hour range from western Dane County down toward around Monroe and Darlington. Current temperatures 59 in Madison. To the north and west, though, notice it's down to 50 degrees at the Baraboo Dells Airport, 51 in Viroqua. Right now, 60 degrees in McFarland, 58 in Cross Plains. But these temperatures will drop off pretty quickly once the skies start to clear out later on tonight. Look for temperatures to drop into the upper 40s already by late evening as the showers come to an end. But chillier weather is on the way beginning tomorrow. I'll have more on how cold it'll get in just a few minutes.
Thank you. Today, Madison police arrested a man who they say entered multiple apartments and sexually assaulted someone earlier this week. Police say multiple people reported that the man entered their unlocked apartments. This was in the 400 block of West Gorham. One person reported being sexually assaulted. Police say the 24-year-old suspect was taken into custody without incident. He faces charges of third-degree sexual assault and burglary.
A Madison teen is being charged with kidnapping after allegedly luring his ex-girlfriend to his car before forcing her inside. 18-year-old Alexander De Vicente Hernandez met his ex at Country Grove Park in Madison before forcing her into his car and driving to Dodgeville. He then returned to Madison and let her out. During an initial appearance today, the court entered not guilty pleas to any misdemeanor counts. Cash bond was set at $5,000, and Hernandez was ordered to have GPS monitoring.
The Darrell Brooks trial cut short today as a precaution due to a tornado warning in that area. The trial then continued after the warning expired, but then Judge Jennifer Duro decided to break for the day. All parties were then asked to look at their schedules to make up for the lost time in today's trial. Brooks got emotional again after a witness recalled in detail what he saw the day of the Waukesha Parade tragedy. We want to warn you that some of the testimony you're about to hear is graphic.
He proceeded to, and she was basically on the right side of his vehicle, and he proceeded to run her over with the right front tire, then the right rear tire. And at that point, I was just focused on the body on the ground, but I remember hearing the roar of the engine again.
Today, Brooks also tried to subpoena the state of Wisconsin. Judge Duro said she could not require the state to testify because it's an entity, not a person. The trial will continue tomorrow at about 8:30 in the morning. You can watch the stream online, channel3000.com. A Sun Prairie teacher facing 3 federal charges after allegedly recording students in a school bathroom. An indictment of 34-year-old Matthew Quaglieri says he used an iPad on 3 separate occasions to produce videos of minors engaging in sexually explicit conduct. Police say this happened at Prairie View Middle School, where he taught. The Sun Prairie Area School District says Quaglieri has been suspended since the investigation started. We're down to the second and final Marquette Law School poll, and today's results show some interesting developments. The race for governor, well, it's tight as can be. Governor Evers up by just 1 point over challenger Tim Michels. That's essentially a tie within the margin of error. It's a little different on the U.S. Senate side. Ron Johnson up by 6 points now over Mandela Barnes. That's more than the margin of error. From what political scientist Anthony Chergosky sees, the political ads attacking Barnes could be taking a toll.
Those negative ads have had a significant effect on this race. We've seen that Mandela Barnes is now viewed more negatively than before, and we've seen Ron Johnson's numbers climb in the polls. So the Republicans have been quite effective in their campaign.
Chergosky says the edge that Johnson has in the polls is not locked in yet, but there isn't much time to make many moves. We will see one more Marquette poll coming up the first week of November. And if you've been looking at the issue of crime in that Senate race, you may have noticed both sides are claiming the other candidate to be soft on crime.
So who is right? Political reporter Will Keneally has this reality check.
So we've seen claims from both sides on the issue of crime, but for this ad specifically, we're going to look at Ron Johnson's policy on gun control.
Mass shootings, school shootings, and violent crime are on the rise, and Ron Johnson is making things worse.
This ad comes from Everytown, a gun control advocacy group.
He abandoned law enforcement, voting against funding for the police.
The ad cites an appropriations bill from 2018 and the sweeping American Rescue Plan Act, both of which Johnson voted against. Both bills did contain some funding for law enforcement, so it is partially true that Johnson voted against police funding. But his position is different. In a call to reporters, Johnson explained his vote like this. He said that, quote, "It's rare. I would say it never happens where you're voting simply on a bill to fund the police. If that were the case, I'd be voting for all of them."
But supported flooding our streets with guns and making it easier for violent criminals and domestic abusers to get them.
So we'll break this down a bit. First, looking at the claim that Johnson is flooding the street with guns. There were a series of gun control votes in 2013 in the wake of the Sandy Hook shooting, and the ad cites 2 of them from Johnson here. The first is an assault weapons ban, which he voted against. The second is a proposal to allow for concealed carry permit holders to conceal carry across state lines without getting a permit from the other state. Johnson voted for this proposal. Whether or not these 2 votes amount to flooding the street with guns will be up to you. Now onto that second part.
And making it easier for violent criminals and domestic abusers to get them.
So this refers to something called the Boyfriend Loophole, which was partially closed by the Safer Communities Act that was passed earlier this year in the wake of the Uvalde shooting. In that bill, if a person is convicted of abuse in a dating relationship, they're added to a national gun background check system. Beforehand, you'd have had to be married, not just dating. And it's true that Johnson voted against the bill as a whole. He said that it had provisions that ignored constitutional rights. As we mentioned before, this ad was bought by a third-party gun advocacy group and is running in the Madison market. I'm Will Keneally with this reality check.
If you want to learn more about how gun control and crime are playing out in political ads, you can find our full reality check series online at channel3000.com.
A reminder, Governor Evers and Tim Michels will face off this Friday in their first and only televised debate before next month's election. It'll be held right here in our News 3 Now studio, and you can watch it here on Channel 3 or live stream at channel3000.com beginning at 7. Coming up on News 3 Now, a new homeless shelter opening its doors tomorrow on Madison's east side. We'll share what it has to offer.
Plus, a pilot program helping low-income families in Madison starts handing out its first payments. We'll be right back.
Furniture and Appliance Mart's Ultimate Sale is going on now. Get 10% off LG appliance packages of 3 or more pieces. Plus, guaranteed delivery within 5 days on all in-stock appliances at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley off the Beltline in East Springs Drive.
My school does active shooter drills every few months. It's terrifying to think about.
Tim Michels wants to allow teenagers my age to buy AR-15s with no waiting period.
It's a terrible idea.
It's a really bad idea.
And Michels wants to allow people to bring loaded guns on our school grounds.
And that's just not okay. I don't want guns in my school. We shouldn't be making things worse.
Tim Michels is just way too radical.
He's way too divisive.
Tim Michels is wrong for Wisconsin.
Lean back and save at the Century House. Right now, buy stressless recliners, sofas, or office chairs and get up to $1,500 credit towards the purchase of more. Or save $400 on stressless signature-based recliners and ottomans and motorized classic power recliners. Don't wait. Take the opportunity to fill your home with stressless comfort for less. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
You protected our rights, preserved our freedom. You may have even risked your life for us. Now, it's our turn to fight for you. Your local Wisconsin emergency, energy, and housing assistance providers, and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund reward the service of our veterans with rental and energy support in their time of crisis. Apply today to get the fresh start you've earned.
Ashley's Ultimate Sale is going on now. Shop in store today and get ultimate discounts. Clearance items are up to 78% off. Plus, get a bonus 10% off our sale prices at checkout. Don't miss these ultimate savings. Only at Ashley.
$500 a month won't make anyone rich, but it could make a big difference for more than 150 families in Madison.
Those families received the first of 12 monthly payments today. Andrew Banstra shows us how the city intends to keep the pilot program going. Andrew?
Providing these payments requires a good chunk of money, nearly $1 million worth. But it's not the city's money. Instead, it's all from private donations. To qualify, people need to have a household income of under 200% of the federal poverty line. Madison received 3,000 applicants from eligible families for this program. The city then randomly selected 155 families. Mayor Rhodes Conway says similar programs aimed at decreasing poverty exist around the country.
You know, our goal is not necessarily to have Madison run its own program in perpetuity, but rather to have the federal government adopt this as an approach to ending poverty.
This isn't just a novelty thing. The University of Pennsylvania will analyze data from the program, hoping its research pushes the federal government to do as Rhodes Conway suggests, take over the program. Now, we won't know for a while how people in Madison will spend their $500 a month. However, other programs show that families spend 68% of the money on food and goods. In the News Center, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Now.
People seeking shelter this winter in Madison will need to rely on another new home, but the city hopes it's the final temporary one. That shelter opens tomorrow. Crews have worked to convert the former thrift store on Zier Road into a temporary men's shelter since February. It will have space for as many as 200 men. Community development leaders say while the space is temporary, it is still nicer and better suited to help people than the old Fleet Services building on 1st Street.
What you're seeing here, the different accommodations here,
are reflecting what we have heard from shelter users, things that are important to them. So I'm hoping and expecting that they'll be well received.
The temporary men's shelter will feature better bathrooms with private showers, lockers, and common areas for dining. It will also have space for one-on-one meetings, isolation, and recovery rooms to take in people who are sick or under the influence.
Still ahead, UW-Madison hosting a free concert tomorrow to kick off homecoming festivities. Find out who will be performing.
Plus, after its massive success last year, the Culver's Curter Burger is back. Why you won't have to rush to get one this time around.
And temperatures take a bit of a nosedive tonight. Gary's back with a complete look at your forecast after the break.
Looking at mattresses?
I'm just looking.
Jump on it, roll on it.
No.
Just pretend I'm not here. You have any questions?
Buying a mattress can be uncomfortable.
She seemed nice.
That's why Slumberland has modernized the process. Slumberland. Mattress shopping reinvented.
Get a stylish solution for every room with window treatments and save with 11% off everything at Menards. Get window images, room darkening vinyl and aluminum blinds, faux wood blinds, and cellular shades trimmed to width for free. Or order a custom style and size. From durable, economical options to stunning custom designs, you'll find the perfect window treatments to transform your space. Right now, all window treatments are 11% off at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
It's Steinhoffel's 88th anniversary, and we're celebrating with incredible store-wide savings. Save 35 to 55% on sofas, dining sets, mattresses, bedroom furniture, and more. Plus, when you spend $17.99 or more, you'll get an extra $88 off your purchase. For 88 years, Steinhoffel's has been helping families create the homes of their dreams. So celebrate with us and take advantage of some fantastic deals during Steinhoffel's 88th anniversary sale. Relax, it's Steinhoffel's.
Why do dermatologists choose Dove?
The Dove Beauty Bar is gentle, not only cleans, hydrates my skin.
As a dermatologist, I want what's best for our skin.
With 1/4 moisturizing cream, Dove is the #1 bar dermatologists use at home.
Your style is your superpower, yours to create and own. Your best style starts with Tresemme. Our most advanced formulas infused with salon-inspired ingredients like hyaluronic acid and Pro-Style technology. Pro Smooth, Pro Shine, Pro Confidence.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Ron Johnson caught lying. Independent fact checks call his attacks on Mandela Barnes false and misleading. But it's Johnson's views that are alarming. Johnson supported a ban on abortions. He co-sponsored a bill that makes no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And Johnson said if women don't like it, they can move. The truth is, it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Right now at Slumberland Furniture, you'll get 30% off all living room furniture. Yup, sofas, sectionals, tables, recliners, and more. All 30% off. Plus 30% off select mattresses and 20% off everything else. On now at Slumberland Furniture.
Welcome back. Tomorrow, 2 bands with big fan bases in Madison will be performing a free concert to kick off UW-Madison's homecoming. Madison-born band Slow Pulp will be the opening act, followed by up-and-coming indie pop band Always. The show was originally supposed to be outside on the terrace, but will now take place inside Shannon Hall in the Wisconsin Union Theater.
They're pushing all the right buttons and checking all the right boxes right now. They're very eager to play, and they're going to give us an incredible show tomorrow.
The show starts at 7 p.m. Doors open to students with student IDs at 6:30 and to the public at 6:45. No drinks are allowed except for bottled water. Seating will be on a first-come, first-served basis.
All right, back by popular demand, the Curter Burger making its triumphant return to Culver's today for the first time in almost a year. The special burger was born from an April Fool's Day joke, and people liked the idea so much that an online petition circulated with thousands of people asking that the fictional food become reality. On October 15th last year, National Cheese Curd Day, the burger was available for just that day, and most locations across the Madison area ran out of them due to high demand. This year, the Curter Burger will be available through the end of the month or while supplies last.
It's the greasy goodness you really want, you know? It's, you got the nice crisp, you got a nice crunch. It's a good burger. Culver should seriously think about putting it on the menu full time. Like, I don't know why it's not a thing, like, already. I feel like it should be. Craig, if you're watching this, you know my number.
Food critic. Last year, the event resulted in record sales for many locations for Culver's nationwide. About 20% of the chain's restaurants set new single-day sales records after about 136,000 Curter burgers were sold.
Now let's check back in with Gary for a complete look at the forecast.
Oh, yeah, an active line of showers and thunderstorms moved through right around noontime. You can see all the severe weather reports, mainly over southeastern Wisconsin, over extreme southern Jefferson County, mainly Walworth County, into Racine County, Waukesha, Milwaukee, Ozaukee, and Washington counties. That's where the bulk of the severe weather reports were. And there were several tornado touchdowns, including one just outside of Whitewater. That one, pretty good chance that that will be confirmed, but also reports in Burlington, Franksville, Brown Deer, and Pewaukee. You can see the times, right between about noon and a little after 12:30. So that's when that line of showers moved on through. That has raced off to the east. Now we have another line of showers with a couple of isolated thunderstorms along it racing through. And the fast movement means these showers and storms could produce some locally heavy or locally strong winds. You can see they're not going to produce a lot of rain as they're moving pretty quickly this afternoon, the early afternoon line already into Michigan. This one moving just as quickly. And as we take a look at 6-hour future track radar, you can see within 6 hours, shortly after midnight, that those showers should be on the other side of Lake Michigan. But they are producing some strong wind gusts, mainly just to the west of Madison. Some of these winds gusting in the 35 to 40 mile per hour range. So don't be surprised if you get some quick, strong wind gusts as they move on through. That shows up in three things to know. A period of gusty showers this evening, then breezy and chilly for the next couple of days. Highs upper 40s for tomorrow and around 50 on Friday. And dry weather expected this weekend into next week, but temperatures going to be well below normal. Planning your night, look for a low of 41 in Middleton, 40 in Waunakee, 40 in Mount Horeb. The skies turn partly cloudy overnight after the showers pass. Low of 41 Janesville, 40 in Platteville, and 42 degrees in La Crosse. For tomorrow, look for variably cloudy skies, breezy and colder, a slight chance for an afternoon shower, high temperature at 47. You can see this on future track beginning at 12:30 tomorrow. Just a very slight chance for a shower during the afternoon. Then skies actually turn partly cloudy tomorrow night as temperatures drop off pretty quickly. So it'll be dry for most of the night, but notice by early on Friday morning, temperatures right around freezing or a little bit below. So widespread frost and perhaps a hard freeze expected. But notice by noon, more clouds and maybe a shower popping up during the afternoon. Not very widespread for Friday. High temperatures again right around 50 degrees. Future track precipitation, most areas that get rain will see less than 1/10 of an inch, so not a lot of rain expected, but 7 to 10 day forecast. Chilly for the weekend, dry, high temperatures around 50. By Monday, high of 43, lows in the upper 20s for Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, and then temperatures rebound back into the middle 50s toward the end of next week.
And coming up in sports, Steven Crowell bulked up for the season, while Greg Gard says he's not the bug anymore. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
I love being an orthopedic surgeon because I can help people improve their lives. My name is Ashish Raval. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. My specialty is sports medicine, focusing specifically on the care of the shoulder, hip, and knee.
Life doesn't stop for diabetes. Be ready for every moment with Glucerna. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand that's scientifically designed to help manage your blood sugar. Live every moment. Glucerna.
Volunteering offers more than benefits for those served. Volunteers reap health benefits from the time they give. RSVP of Dane County's Driver Services Program needs volunteers to provide rides to medical appointments and deliver meals to older adults in Dane County. Ideal candidates are of legal driving age, love to drive, and meet new people. Schedules are very flexible, and volunteer drivers will use their own vehicles and are reimbursed for mileage. To make a difference, please contact RSVP of Dane County today.
A 12-year-old girl can't legally drive a car. At 12, she can't even vote. But if this little girl were tragically raped or a victim of incest and became pregnant, Radical Tim Michaels would force her to deliver the baby. He said it's, quote, not unreasonable for the state government to mandate rape victims to give birth. Would it be unreasonable if he were forcing this on you? Let him know on Election Day.
Golden Cars is having a big end of summer sale
with 2020 Chevy Malibu starting at $21,995 or $349 per month.
Don't miss out on all end of summer sales. The best selection of 2020 Chevy Malibu starting at $21,995 or $349 per month.
Gobin Cars has been family-owned and operated for over 50 years, so just come on in and ask for my brother Dealing Donovan.
Or my sister Crystal the Pistol Gobin.
Go to Gobin Cars East or West.
You gotta go to Gobin. GobinCars.com.
At Ortho Team Clinic, we're able to provide comprehensive shoulder care to really address all the different shoulder problems that a patient may have. Listening is at the center of how we're able to treat these patients effectively.
The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Foundation presents the 2022 Wisconsin gubernatorial debate. Incumbent Democratic Governor Tony Evers debates Republican challenger Tim Michels Friday at 7 p.m. on WISC-TV.
Steven Krall had one goal this offseason, pack on the pound so he could be a force down low in the paint. So since the season ended, the junior forward hit the weight room, lifting just about every day to add muscle and weight to his 7-foot frame. In total, he gained around 10 pounds, but more importantly, Greg Gard has noticed a more confident Krall when he takes his game down low.
It's hard to gain weight when you're my build, but we're trying to do every pound matters, so I have gained a little bit of weight, yeah.
The confidence I've seen grow because he's bigger, stronger, and I think he likes my saying that be the windshield, not the bug. He's been the bug for the last year and a half or so. Now he's starting to control the paint on both ends of the floor.
And it appears Greg Gard and Juwan Howard are friends again after the handshake line scuffle last season. Wisconsin men's basketball tweeted out this picture from Big Ten Media Days with the caption, "Making Valentine's Day plans." The Badgers host the Wolverines on February 14th. Chanel Bramschreier is signed with an agent in the offseason to help her find somewhere to play professionally overseas. Now, when that didn't pan out, she decided to transfer to UW, and the NCAA ruled she'd have to sit out the first half of the season. Well, Friday, those matches are up, and earlier this week, Kelly Sheffield had some thoughts on the ruling.
It is horrendous that this kid had to sit out 14 matches. Meanwhile, a Jackson Kirkland at Washington, who is in the exact same situation, an All-American, had to sit out for one game in football. What is the difference between him and what happened to Chanel? The only difference is the sports and the genders. I don't know what else to say. It is horrible. Let's go with that this kid has had to miss this much.
Aaron Rodgers said on Tuesday on the Pat McAfee show that his thumb was a little banged up. Well, today that thumb kept the reigning MVP out of practice. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur said he isn't concerned about his status this Sunday against the Jets. Rodgers injured the thumb on the last play of the game against the Giants. And don't forget to tune in to tonight's Badger Blueprint during the News 3 Now at 10. Jim Polzine and I break down Jim Leonard's debut, Chimere Dike's big game, and, of course, we'll make our game day picks.
A little more upbeat Badger Blueprint than we were a week ago.
Yeah.
Things change.
Just a little bit different.
With one win. All right, Gary, final check.
Yeah, the weather keeps changing. Take a look at the live view from the WISC Skycam. You can see that camera kind of shaking around a little bit as some showers have rolled down through. We're seeing some wind gusts between about 35 and 40 miles per hour from around Monroe northward to just west of Madison. There's that line of showers coming on through. We expect some gusty winds as they move through this evening.
And thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.